Hello, everyone. Rabbi Abe. So before I began to study Kabbalah in 1987, I was a loser. That's right. I believe, like 99% of people on the planet, that you can lose things. You can lose love. You can lose money. God forbid, a person can lose their health. Well, I'm here to tell you today and show you that it is, number one, not possible to lose. And whatever you think you have lost, it is possible to restore it. But we must know how. We must understand the rules of receiving and loss and how to restore whatever it is that we've thought we've lost. So here's the rule. Let's start this way. Whatever it is that we've truly had, we can never lose. Now, we can never lose until we believe we've lost. Now, that must be explained if we are to use this system. I want to read to you directly from the ancient wisdom of the Kabbalists and explain what basic rule of receiving that governs this process of how we feel fulfilled and how we lose, and how to prevent loss. And if we felt we've lost, we want to restore it. We want to restore it back. In fact, not only restore it back, we want to receive more than we had before. So let's go to the wisdom of the Kabbalah, and I'm going to read to you directly from the pages of the explanation of the Talmud Eses Sefirot, the study of the 10 emanations, or what is commonly known as the Tree of Life. And I'm going to read for you from two different places which say approximately the same thing, but not exactly, and there are nuances here. See if you can understand the difference. So he says, thus, since the above Malchut de Ein Sof restricted herself and diminished her will to receive, the Or, the light, and the abundance departed due to the scantness of the desire. This is the meaning of the Tzimtzum. The ascent of the desire caused the departure of the Shefa, the abundance, and the light from there. All right, let me translate that. What is he saying? He's saying the recipient or the receiver within this concept, the reality which is called Ein Sof, the endless world, we can say, restricted itself. It rejected or restricted its light, its fulfillment, and diminished her desire. She diminished her desire. Now, why would she do that? Whatever she is. Why would she diminish her desire? Well, the answer is because she, or this vessel, or the recipient in the endless, wanted to achieve affinity, a likeness with the creator force. Within the creator force, there is no desire, but it is the source. It is the source of all fulfillment in the seed level. But the vessel, which would eventually become the souls of humanity, us, our souls, and everything in the creation, would eventually come and emanate from that. And it says, again, because she wanted to achieve an affinity, a likeness, a similarity with the Creator, in order to connect more with the Creator, what did she do? She diminished her desire. And because she diminished her desire, due to the scantness of the desire, due to the fact that she made it lower, made desire lower, there occurred a rejection, a restriction, meaning a disappearance of light, a disappearance of fulfillment. Well, let's think about that for a second, okay? Hold that in your mind for a second. Because of the diminishment of desire came about a restriction of the light of fulfillment. Now, this light of fulfillment represents any potential fulfillment for us in our life. You know, we're talking about the creative process which operates on our soul level. Same exact creative process. And so this reduction of desire caused the departure of the abundance and the light from that place. Okay? Keep that in your mind. I'm going to read from now the second place. And he says, furthermore, the substance of desire determines the gadlut. It determines the size, how big, how large, and the level of each receiver of each vessel, the extension of the light itself from the creator force is immeasurable. In other words, fulfillment has no measure. It is an endless flow. Think about it. Anything we enjoy, is there anybody who can enjoy it more than us? Absolutely. And can someone enjoy it more than them? And what's the limitation? Is there a limitation on pleasure, enjoyment, fun? Not really. It just depends who's on the receiving end of it. But the energy itself, I can have a good time. This one, I can have a great time. This one, I have an amazing time. And where does it end? It doesn't end because there is no limitation to energy. But somehow there is a limitation to the ability to receive whatever the fulfillment is. How do I receive love? How much can I receive? How much sustenance, money can I receive? Isn't it clear that different people are able to receive more, different levels, different amounts? Different people have their thermostat set. Some people have their thermostat set on $200 a week. Some people have their thermostat set on $2,000, $200,000, $20,000, whatever per week. What does it depend on? What you do? Not necessarily. Okay, we're not going to go too much into that idea, but the process works the same for any of us. We must understand this secret. Again, he says this desire is the substance that determines the size of every vessel, structure, whatever, spiritual level. How the light extends from the creative force, that is without measure. It's immeasurable. But the ability to receive, the vessel itself, which is the ability to receive, is what limits this abundance. That's what limits it, not the energy itself. So the creator, God, is not saying, you I don't like so much, you all give more, less. Doesn't work that way, guys. Not at all. Kabbalah is teaching us that the universe, from the perspective of a creator, is endlessly giving. But we are not educated spiritually on how to receive the endless giving. And so we receive through different limitations which are in our mind, limitations of our desire, our understanding, our fears, trauma, who knows what. But that limits our place. We call it a vessel. It limits the desire. And most of the time, we are not even aware of our limitations. And therefore, we must learn this. Why? To remove those limitations. That's what we want to do. Remove limitations on love, on money, sustenance, health, security, peace of mind. If we feel a lack in any area of our life, it is only because that particular place is limited because of something that's going on in our consciousness that we are likely not aware of. And he says the vessel, which means our ability to receive, can receive no more and no less than its measure of desire. And this is the criteria in spirituality, because there is no coercion there. The universe can never give us anything that we don't truly want. Now, this could easily be misunderstood, and I'll tell you what I mean by it. It is not clear to us what our desires are. For example, we may want the relationship, or may think we want the relationship, but in actuality, we are afraid. We have fears of relationship. So what we want is freedom. In fact, we don't really want the relationship. We want freedom and peace of mind. And a relationship, since it could make us fearful and insecure, while we may want it on the one hand, we may be blocking it on the other hand. Why? Because of our desires. So our desire is not necessarily true. We may have grown up in a household where we have fears of money. Our parents may have been successful, but they're always fighting with each other and they're always arguing about money. And we may have grown up with some sort of underlying fear about money, because money causes conflict in relationships. So we want to keep peace in our relationship. So, you know what? No, I'll only make this amount. And that's it. The thermostat is set at a certain level because who wants fights? Who wants, to have, disorder in my relationship is important to me. Money causes problems. Again, it limits the desire. Now, what is a desire? Well, we understand that a desire is something that we truly want, meaning we're not obsessive about it, but we want it and we're willing to do the work, earning, effort that is required at whatever level in order to achieve it. I'm willing to do what's necessary. I'm willing to do the work. So if I become aware, that's the first step, is awareness. If I become aware that I'm afraid of actually having a relationship, even though I think, on the superficial level that I want one, well, I need to be willing to let go of these fears, overcome them, accept them, and, what may come, right? If I have issues with money and I don't know why, I have to understand what's going on? What is this awareness that I need? Whenever we're blocked in something, we have a lack in something, we're actually receiving what we want in a way, but we don't understand that that's what we want. Sometimes the universe is giving us something that we want. We just didn't know that we want it. And that's causing a blockage. Whatever it is causing a blockage, because nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to be financially stressed. Nobody wants any negative thing to happen to them. But, listen to how we speak. He got sick. He got depressed. It's almost like when we say someone got something in a negative sense. What did he get? Nobody got anything. In fact, you lost something, right? If a person gets depressed, he gets depressed all the time. Well, that means he's losing something, not gaining something. You're not getting anything. You're actually losing something. So if you get depressed, that means you've lost happiness. See, happiness is a light. Depression is a loss of that or a lack of that. So the first step in understanding whatever loss is understanding what the Kabbalist writes. Desire. Desire is the main ingredient in achieving a fulfillment of any loss. And I'll tell you what I mean over here, because when we had something, let's say we had love, we had a relationship. It was very dear to us. We loved the person. But you know what? Sometimes in life it happens. Who knows? The other person becomes interested in other things. Who knows? For whatever reason, and decides this is not the relationship and leaves in the relationship. Now, one person is devastated. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think? If a person becomes devastated because of loss, a perceived loss, I'm not saying a perceived loss, I'm saying a loss, let's say, is the desire now more or is it less? What do you think? And actually, the answer is, of course it's less. When you're down, you're depressed, you're not more motivated, you're not more inspired. I'm so down, I'm so depressed. You don't feel like doing anything. Maybe you just want to sleep. That's down. That means less desire. What did the Kabbalists teach us just now? Desire is required, and the size of the desire, the size of the spiritual vessel which is made of desire, is the key to being able to draw down the Creator's light. That means another relationship. That means more sustenance, money. That means more health. Not less, but we must have free will. And free will in our life, because there's always a duality, means, well, I could go up from this loss or I could go down. And there's a negative force that wants to drag us down. Inertia, Murphy, Satan, you can call it whatever you want. But this force drags us down. And because it drags us down, the first thing it does is attack our desire. Punches us in the stomach and says, you're lost. You see, you're a loser. You're not a winner. You're not a gainer. All these names we give things. But loser really means what? Loss of desire. Not what people think of me or you. No. Before Kabbalah, I said I was a loser. I would become depressed if I felt I lost something, a relationship, money, a bad investment. Oh, man. Again, until I learned the secret. And the secret is no. When something apparently happens that looks like a loss, what's the real reason? Is the energy, the light, the creative force wants me to have a greater place to put more. And the only way to be able to do that is to have a bigger space. But I could interpret that as a loss. And if I interpret it as a loss, well, guess what? I go down with it because I lose my desire. I'm not saying this is easy, but whenever we think that we've lost something, the object is to say, no, this is not for the sake of loss. This rejection, as the Kabbalists call it, this restriction of energy is for me to create a higher level of place for more light. Now, this is not a play game. This is not positive thinking. This is a spiritual process. But again, as I say, we have free will. And could we go down from this? And yes, we generally do, unless we really understand this secret. Nature is designed to drag us down with loss. It's the way it goes. Free will. When we truly exercise free will, it means I say no, not less desire, more desire for more. I'm going to do whatever it takes to create more out of this. Again, not positive thinking, spiritual truth. Quick story. About 25 years ago, I had a student in New York that I was teaching. And he was working with heavy machinery, lost half his finger, got cut off. They were not able to put it back. But he truly believed that he could grow his finger back. Sounds crazy. In fact, I even thought he was a little crazy, right? He was using meditation, herbs. He was a student of Kabbalah. He was using many different modalities at the time. And this principle, I honestly wasn't as clear for me as it is today, but perhaps it was even clearer for him, but he was a true student 2 years later. 2 years later, he never took his desire off. It merely increased effort, nurturing. 2 years later, he grew back his finger, half a finger, fingernail and all. I witnessed this. Crazy. Is it the norm? Well, obviously not. Even though, yes, fingernails grow back, hairs grows back, the DNA is still there, and the DNA of the finger is still there. The DNA of everything is still there. In fact, again, also years ago, we were in a small circle studying with my teacher, and this, pretty successful man, went to my teacher and said, I just lost $10 million. And my teacher shouted at him and said, lost? You lost nothing. Now I will show you how to get it back, how to restore it and more. Because again, this tzimtzum, as it's called, this rejection, this restriction is part of the process, especially when we ask for more. We don't always know what we're asking for. Sometimes the universe needs to help us and make a place to expand our desire for more. We must be focused on that. More. Not in a selfish way, but we need to be willing to do the effort to achieve the more that we asked for. But we must know that any form of down that we see it's down is not to take anything away. So whether it's love, even God forbid health, whether it's love, a relationship, whatever it is, the energy never goes anywhere. If we had it once, the energy is still there. But can we cause a loss by losing our desire and by believing that it's no longer there? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So while, we may not grow back limbs, even God forbid, an amputee still reaches down to scratch his leg or it hurts. And even though the doctor says, yeah, well, you had the leg all your life, it's not there, there's, cellular memory and so on. Don't worry about it. Eventually, you'll come to understand there's no leg, you'll stop scratching it. Well, the Kabbalists would say, no, you reach down to scratch it because energetically, the leg is still there. But if you eventually, which is what will happen, in most cases, that a person begins to believe, yeah, they're right. No leg. Well, Now, for sure, it's not going to grow back. Now, am I here to sit here and tell you that, the leg should grow back? Well, theoretically, yes, it should, because the DNA is still there. But things that are very difficult for us to conceptualize, we also need the support of what we call the critical mass. So things that are, a little bit too much for an individual, even though he or she may know this is right, we still might be limited because we are affected also from the consciousness of other people do affect us. And therefore, the more collective consciousness there is it possible to grow back a limb? Yes. Certain animals do it. Why not us? Hair grows back. Okay. Except in my case, but it's possible. It's possible. We just need to get to that place. So we start with simple things, energetic things, emotional things, relationships, abundance, money, and the like. Never go down. Don't agree with it. Always, you get the news. You lost, or this, or that. What an opportunity to go higher. The universe, the light wants to give me more. And the more we subscribe and understand this is the reality, the quicker there will be a turnaround. That's what I got for you. Don't be a loser. Always be a proper receiver that will be able to receive always more abundant. That's what I got for you guys. By the way, RabbiAbe.com platform. We're looking for supporters. We want to continue the channel, free content for everybody. Please consider being a member of the channel, the YouTube channel. And, if you're able to contribute some small amount, it's very welcome. And blessings to everyone who already is a member of the channel. Be blessed, guys, and I'll see you soon on the next video. Thank you. All the best.